you see them trend toward like these 1-4 types of splits. So you can definitely see that involved. But I think you guys are about to go out with this round, so I'll step away and you guys take it away, Moses.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to watch this one. So live into that pistol round, and look at the aggression. Madi gets that first kill, and this you'd think this would force it back, but they stick around for the fight. They actually turn it around. Stewie and Shroud each with one, but immediately after that, shutdowns come out of Valdi.
No, I was actually going to say I love the fact that they were sticking around because they were committing to the fact that they had 3 people there. That means they were hoping to find people, and because they all stood strong, they ended up getting kills. I thought maybe it's just going to be a stomp, but Heroic ended up finding 3 frags between the 3 players that were fighting.
And look at what they're doing now. This is, oh, actually, Automatic very fortunate to get away. He spots 2. So Heroic actually with the 3-on-1, instead of pushing forward and trying to go to either of the bomb sites, they sit far back and they wait for Automatic to make the play to come towards them. And actually, this is going to be interesting. This is now going to be close. So Automatic almost runs into a wall, stays alive though, and now he can just listen for information for whatever he can find.
Yeah, I mean, he's at the right side of the map. He's on short as well. They don't, oh, they do have a bit of utility, but they're only a couple of headshots away from death. The smoke comes out. Oh, really nice into it. The bomb is now, whoa, with an eye shot, but Madi comes out for a second kill.
Madi, that was a pretty brutal comeback. As soon as that shot is fired and missed, he just peeks right back out and ends the chances. So
yeah,
an early deficit for Cloud9. It's the first round, 0-1.
Yeah, 0-1. In the last series versus Optic, Heroic won 5 out of 6 pistols.
Did they really?
Yeah.
All right, so not a bad pistol team.
And the one round that Optic won the pistol, they got immediately ecoed. So.
That's a bit brutal.
Yeah.
No fun for Optic. We can talk about that over some Molson, although that's
Bone Shaker.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, second round in Heroic, this is what they have to avoid is dropping to these pistols immediately afterwards. That's how Cloud9 can get right back into it. So this is why you're seeing some of these SMGs bought up on the Heroic side. Make a little bit of money. They get the these the AKs on board. They'll give you $300 per kill. The SMGs will give you $600. So there's a little bit of a bonus for using what are generally considered the weaker weapons. It'll help them farm up just a bit. And right now, not being super aggressive, just kind of prodding at the early defense.
Yeah, it's fine to get a little frisky up until a point, and then it's important to stay tight enough to trade because you'll eventually find CTs. That is the rule of CSGO.
Well, and also, I mean, spreading out, if you let these pistols with how strong they are, and actually they line up there for Stewie, he can't land the shots. He gets taken down. Good damage dealt, though, and Skadoodle has a rebuttal, and Automatic still here with the Deagle, so at this range, this has got to be a little bit intimidating. There's still a small bit of danger for Heroic, but at some point, Automatic's got to be very careful. He's had a couple angles that he can get wrapped around upon, and now the pressure is all over towards the B-Buy. So you see Shroud getting this early engagement with Madi. He's going to fall back a little bit deeper into the bomb site as the rest of Heroic comes to meet up.
I think he's encouraging the rotates too much. They're already in B, but still grouped.
Yeah, it does seem like they only did one small fake, and that early pressure onto Shroud, and actually Cloud9 just fully rotates, and actually nothing. Oh, there's a nice shot right over the smoke. 2 kills for nothing. Brings it into a 2-on-2. If Automatic wins this, it could get really interesting. Nothing is well with an AK-47, but it's all on this engagement. Although nothing wins his, he's still being a beast. It's a 1-on-2. Can Automatic keep Snappy here long enough? There's no kit, so he bypasses him, and it looks like Snappy might have to spam. Nothing is just waiting. Oh, that's a nice find, though. Snappy's ready for it. Down into a 1-on-1, and the timer has gone so far. There's no HP on Automatic, so Cloud9, they make it interesting.
It's almost one of those times that you wish you had a 5-7, right? Instead of the Deagle. Right? The Deagle is kill them or don't do any damage whatsoever. But the economic damage, there are 3 AKs that nothing ended up dropping, so it doesn't really matter. That's not to say it doesn't really matter that they didn't win the round, but they got to be happy with that result. They didn't invest that much.
Yeah, I mean there was also no armor invested, so that's pretty cool. We do have a drop from the service, which is why we're seeing a pause. So not tactical this early, that'd be a little bit crazy, but a technical pause coming out as we're gonna have to look at an issue. But a good early start. We obviously just 2 rounds in, so we don't get a glimpse too much of what these teams are going to be doing, their plan. But one thing we did notice, and I think you mentioned it, that early pressure onto the B bomb site. Cloud9, Shroud called that rotation.
Yeah.
And even on the pistol round when it was a 3-on-1 and Heroic went back towards that B site. Automatic had a good read on it, so it doesn't seem like Heroic is being too much like faking more than once. It seems like they have their one selection that they're just going to go into.
Yeah, they pick their site and they go to it, and essentially, they've got the bigger guns. So as long as they do stick together, they should, in theory, win all their duels and trade. Nothing ended up getting a 3-piece for himself. maybe the exception.
Well, and that's one thing. You know, nothing very noted as an up and down player guy. You know, a guy who we see him have phenomenal games where he carries his team, and games where he doesn't seem to have as much of an impact. But one thing you can always say is that he's a player that can create some kind of magic, some kind of craziness.
Yeah.
And that there again, he almost does it.
Yeah, he was regarded for a while as like the type of player who could take a game into his own hands, but it was kind of something that you couldn't rely on, right?
Yeah, well, you never really know, right? Because I know way back at the beginning of CS:GO, he had that series against Virtus Pro where I think he got like something like 90 kills across three maps.
Yeah.
It's like you can never tell when that level of performance is going to come out, but when it does, it's just jaw dropping, and that is a hard carry performance. So really on nothing looking good. I mean, this is as much you can glean from 2 rounds into the map.
Yeah, no, yeah. So much to reflect on.
Yeah, we haven't seen the ops come out quite yet. We mentioned that was going to be a critical point of battle on this map.
Now, Freeze has been on point, but I still think he's outclassed by Scoodle, who was playing out of it. He almost got that ace on train.
Yeah,
that was almost one of the sickest aces.
That was a beauty, wasn't it?
I mean, I think everybody saw that ace happening. They saw the Reddit clip being posted and going to the top and then telling all their friends that they saw it live. It probably still got posted as a 4-kill. Yeah, probably. That's true. That's true.
But yeah, no, Scoodle's been playing very well recently, so that is going to be a very tall task for Heroic to have to overcome. Is going to be him, especially just as a rock for this defense. But either way, even on the previous maps, Cloud9, you know, I believe it was Vansili mentioned it. They didn't really have a weak player in that series against CLG. No one was playing poorly, so that's the other thing that you have to worry about. Is everyone in Cloud9 at the moment seems to be hitting an individual peak.
Yeah.
And on the Heroic side, this is kind of. It is a little bit of a bummer because with some of the results they've had, you know, online playing against the top competition, you know, they've 16-0'd FaZe. They had a couple 16-0s, I think, right before this event. Then they go on to win Powerland, but they're showing some good things, some improvement that they didn't get to with previous lineups. So coming into this, you almost felt like just because they were going up against European competition, might be favorites, but just the explosion of Cloud9 it almost overshadows it.
Yeah, and I don't know if you agree, but when they were on SK, I don't think anybody really felt like they were going to break into that Tier 1 territory with the lineup that they had, right? Yeah, they just continually have really good Tier 2 results and stay there. So the roster changes, I think, were necessary. And
a little bit of an interesting result on the other side of the bracket is that Complexity, versus Echo Fox. Game in which Complexity is up 13-2 after the first half. So,
what?
Yeah, I don't think anyone saw that one coming. Echo Fox, another one, you know, a team that has a lot of big names on it, a lot of skill that people expected to be breezing through that matchup pretty easy, I think.
Like, yeah, me. I'm one of those people. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that.
Me too, oddly enough. So,
wow, and they, you know, Echo Fox, they did really well in the group, and on top of that, people expect them to play a lot better than they have been.
This is one thing though that Echo Fox admitted. I know their coach Frost actually mentioned this. Very much, they were just at that ESEA Global Challenge LAN out in Poland, where they had, you know, they were getting deep. They were one of the favorites to win it. It was a tournament they probably should have won, and they actually dropped to the 5th best team in Sweden. So they said, you know, they have they have the really high ups and the really low lows. So currently at the moment, they are definitely on a low.
I think I have a problem with their composition. There's too many meatheads. Can only have 2.
Spoken like a true nerd.
I think, yeah.
It's too many jocks.
Yeah.
Well, the bomb is going to get planted, and this is, we mentioned it in the last series with Cloud9, one of those gamble stacks where because you have the weaker pistols, because you don't really have any advantages, the only one you can really do is try and surprise a team by having 5 players prepared in one of the bomb sites in one location on the map, and Heroic just blindly picks the location that Cloud9 is not at. So it's pretty much going to be a pretty standard win. It's all down to nothing, and this could be interesting.
Jordan trying to get a rise of the crowd, obviously.
Well, he's not going to provide anything, so he gets taken out through the corner. So nice diligence in clearing everything. That's going into the first gun run, and as we mentioned, I mean, there wasn't too much of an investment in those first 2 rounds for Cloud9. So we're going to see a much stronger buy than I think we've been used to in recent times in Counter-Strike, where the meta is, you know, that heavy investment into the second round.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious how Scoodle will start off the pace of this round. I hope we get eyes on him early on. Always good to follow the opera. He is he way out there right now?
Yeah, he's the one pushing up towards Fountain right now. That flashbang, it's a pretty common flashbang, so he sees it coming. And I think he also noticed the jumping over. He just caught the glimpse of his shoulder, so he realizes his window of opportunity is gone. Just falls back into safety. Some early pressure. Plenty of noise being made by Heroic. They're not trying to hide the heavy amount of pressure they have at all.
And they clearly have a liking for B right now. 4 players over here. 1 player watching the flank passively is ready to come in and potentially be the clutch player when they hit it. And it seems like they're going to use their nades quite early. I don't think even intend to try to find a kill right now. Instead, we'll just be splitting it with that short control.
Well,
Ooh.
yeah, there's a nice opening kill. Automatic, he falls. He's been a rock for this Cloud9 team ever since he joined. A lot's been made up of how they've been playing since the day he joined, and actually, that's a missed Molotov from nothing, so that's going to be a little bit difficult. That's going to hurt things, and there's Madi with another good kill. That's the Alper down. Skidoodle, the big-time player. Molotov drops right into water, but Stewie's going to have to go big, and he does. 2 kills for him. He does eventually get traded out, but he's kept his team in this round, although nothing falls afterwards, so it's the next star up for Cloud9. It's Shroud in a 1-on-2. And he knows the bomb is being planted. He hears that noise, and he's just biding his time and waiting, and that might slow things down just a little bit. He's still looking for any kind of a mistake out of Heroic. He hasn't made a move himself. Completely flashed, and he hasn't even moved quite yet. Just full faith in himself, and he loses that duel. But the man who gets the entry also finishes the round. That's well done.
Wasn't that a curious way to act when you get
I
blind?
was just like in my head, I'm just like, please don't let his computer have like crashed.
Oh yeah, I know, right? That was kind of weird because he knows where he is, so he maybe just walks over at least behind the site.
I think what part of it is while his vision is coming slowly back, your hearing a little bit comes back first before the vision. So while he's holding that angle, he knows exactly where he's aiming. If he's getting shot at, he can at least just pull the trigger because he knows exactly where his crosshair is.
Yeah, fair enough.
So it might be the thought process, but that's just pure speculation. Shroud's a crazy guy. He does crazy things. Speaking of crazy, that's a nice underhand toss over. Right at the playground as well. It's Appler. They don't clear everything out. Freeze with the MAC-10. Doesn't get any kills, but Snappy's there to bail him out.
No, I want to say last round was kind of unfortunate. Faldo getting that opening frag. Yeah, you can rely on getting a couple of wall bangs a game, but to do that in a situation where they were going to hit B and it was Cloud9 to actually have 3 in B in that situation, pretty prepared for it, I think was very fortunate. And then nothing missing a crucial Molotov on long B, another misstep. That is his fault, don't get me wrong, but unfortunate nonetheless. It's not like it's hard to throw that Molotov. Yeah,
so that Molotov that he throws, I know that this was a couple rounds ago, but you know when that is thrown, that prevents Heroic, the players, from streaming out across the water, from getting the wider angles onto the bomb site, from shooting at the defense from a couple different angles. So it actually is pretty critical that he misses that.
Because getting across the site is step 1 of the take, whether or not you get the kill, giving everybody space to shoot.
Small gap in the smoke. Glaive is using to clear everything, and this is pretty slow-paced round now. Once again, we get to see Skidoodle with the AWP, and where exactly he will find his first kill. Because he was the one who got punished on the rotation. It was a little bit harder as an opera when you have to rotate over to a bomb site. A little bit less mobile of a weapon, so you have to very much know where players are going to be when you keep it.
Everyone's grouped up a little bit. A lot of map control has been forfeited. You can just see, Cloud9 are holding down like the last 20% of the map. This is a really good sign for Heroic. And Cloud9 are therefore relying heavily on getting opening kills. If Skidoodle misses his first shot, he's giving up all the bathrooms in a moment's notice. He can't really re-peek that safely. So, yeah.
Yeah, and also, I mean, there's been no real battle for this control that Heroic has gotten. It was quickly just Cloud9 forfeiting it. And again, there's not a whole lot of pressure. They're just yielding a little bit of ground. They haven't used a lot of utility yet. They still have so much. I mean, that's one thing we've noticed with Cloud9 online is that they're so good at holding on and trusting in their ability to prevent their utility usage. So coming down to 30 seconds left in this round, if an execute does come out, they've got 2 Molotovs. They've got flashbangs and HEs and smokes to drop to really confuse everyone, but they're snappy. Stewie's completely blind. His aggression has been neutralized. Skidoodle's still alive, but he's got to run through fire to get to safety. It's not too safe, though. He's still burning, and he's still taking bullets. Glaive finds him, and Automatic is here as well. But he can only hold down for a moment as nothing. It's his turn. And there's one headshot right through the corner, but Freeze takes him out. Shroud again, the clutch man in a one-on-one, and Madi cannot recover in time.
Whoa.
As the seconds dwindle, yeah, it might not have mattered, but Shroud is there. But that is a costly round to win for Cloud9.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, coming down to the 1v1 as you're alluding to right now means that the reset is imminent, and I think that Shroud must have gone and picked up the op, which would have been a really big recovery. And this is like, we see the claustrophobia happening on the site, and that's why you don't want to end up with 3 people on a site. There's not very many good places to stand. That one Molotov cut off pretty much 2 of the best spots that you could be in.
It's ineffective though. All these trades that Cloud9 takes to win that, all those kills were 1-for-1 trades coming down to it. So the economy is hurt. It's still not very strong. You can see 2 Famas bought up just so that those players can have the nades that they need to win this next round. And it's going to be a very dangerous economic reset situation. If Heroic wins this, Cloud9 is going to be back on towards pistols. So still not out of any danger quite yet.
And I wonder if Cloud9 continually give up all this map control. Like here, we're maintaining a really important part of the map, the middle of the map, the stairs. This is how you have a short rotation as a terrorist. So it's really good to stay down here. It's a little bit scary because you can't escape without getting a kill, like as we see. we're getting crunched right now.
Yeah, and there's one kill now, and Stewie's the last one left, and he can get absolutely nothing done. He falls.
That's really tough. Sometimes it's good to have someone in bathrooms to support from the top of stairs, but you're not always going to be able to catch terrorists coming down the stairs anyway. So that crunch might have happened despite whatever setup Cloud9 decided to play. And in those close angles, they did have some advantage with that UMP. Probably a good place to put him, but couldn't even go 1 or 2 for 1.
Yeah, Automatic trying to recover, and this is just Cloud9 getting picked off systematically across the map. So all on Skadoodle, and there's nothing that says he can't do this. We've seen him work some magic, and there's a first shot. Unfortunate, though, doesn't get the kill. It's through the edge of the truck. There's one, though. He's getting wrapped upon it. His teammate is falling. He misses that next one. That might have been it, although he recovers. Skadoodle going for more. The no-scope doesn't land, though. And again, you talked about it at the pregame. You can almost see these rounds working out for Skadoodle in your mind's eye.
Yeah.
But Heroic doing a very good job of making sure he doesn't have a lot of time to recover, just keeping him suffocated when they do attack his position.
Yeah, and I wonder if they have a really good strategy. If they're playing Overpass a little bit too scared, it's not a map that's easy to play on CT side, and that's because you kind of have to be uncomfortable when you're pushed up into areas that where you don't plant the bomb. You're fighting for map control, and you're not exactly sure why. You're like, oh, maybe I could fall back right now. Oh, maybe I don't have to stand here and watch my back as well as my front. Now, just the quick walk into B. I like this approach instead of waiting around to see what the CTs will do. Madi entering.
Swift headshot there. That's, I mean, the entries of Heroic in this game have been very, very nice. And we saw that it was the complete opposite against CLG for Cloud9. They were the ones winning all the opening duels. They were the players getting multi-kills, 2 kills when bomb sites were being entered. We haven't really seen either of those tendencies out of them in this match quite yet. And this is a quick lead for Heroic. 7-1. They control the economy very, very nicely. And that's a punishing attack that's been going on.
What's really interesting about the way Madi plays B-side on Overpass is that he is the lurker. He's always by himself, but what happens is if he lurks B and they decide to go B, he turns into the entry and he walks in first. And even when he lurks, sometimes he walks in by himself to try to get a kill. So as slow and patiently as he does play, he's not afraid to take that first battle.
Another round for Cloud9 to see what they can do, try and stop this attack we have going on. And again, it's pressure on the B bomb site. Shroud in the water, he finds one. Glave's not aware of him, but you think maybe there could be something built upon that. And Shroud still gets a nice shot. Oh, and a dink on the last one, but he's not able to clean it up. I mean, you think maybe there's an opportunity. Shroud gets that first kill. You're thinking the reinforcements coming in. If they can trade a little bit here or there, but it's like it's 3 quick kills for Heroic. So I mean, they're just on point right now.
Yeah, they're on point right now, and they're winning all the important rounds. They earned themselves that reset when exactly when they needed to. They earned the 5-1 to begin with. They got that pistol. It's just firing on all cylinders. They're taking the easiest path right now, the easiest route, the route that requires the minimum amount of effort. They've only gone up against two full gun rounds.
Well, and then speaking of just a couple gun rounds, this is a tactical pause, I believe, from Cloud9. I would assume, because at this stage in the game, losing another gun round and all of a sudden this half might be, an insert. I don't think you could come back from that. You might be able to put some rounds on the board, but I don't think it's going to put you in a position where the second half is actually giving you a chance to win. So
if they see what we see and they don't, they'll notice that SK, when they do their defaults, are focusing all 5 of their players to one half of the map, and then one person watching their flank, as opposed to having them hard lurk kind of aggressively. So that means there's a lot of information to be gained that Cloud9 are not even scoping out. And if I'm Cloud9, I think the first things first, stop getting trapped in the situation where you're falling back too soon. Be a little bit more aggressive, at least for your first frag, and then think about going back to safer spots. And I think if you find that there's presence on one side of the map, maybe get frisky on the other, because it's not working out for them having to rely on their sight holds.
Well, I mean, that's not going to help anything about a sight hold either. Look at the confidence in that peak as well. And there's just no intentions here from Heroic of even hitting that bomb site. It's just go take that fight, win it, and then we'll adjust elsewhere. Just as a quick update while this round kind of slows down, Complexity is up 15-7.
Wow. Over
Echo Fox.
Wow,
so a small comeback occurring from that, what was it, 12-3 half. So,
yeah.
But still, a surprising result nonetheless. Now it's up next. Madi gets that opening kill, and it's Stewie who responds. He equalizes, and there's the op from Skadoodle. That chimes in at range, so chance here for Cloud9, but Stewie's in a very, very tough spot. This position he's in, there's not a whole lot of ways you can fall back from it. He baits out a shot, but Glave's got a new angle that he's not ready for. Down into a 3-on-3.
Oh.
45 seconds left on the clock, and how do you make the decision from here? It seems like Cloud9's being torn two different ways.
Yeah, Tim can hear them now.
Yeah, now the information is in. They know exactly what's coming. This Molotov could be huge. He's going to throw it. It's a little bit late, but he got to the fight inside of it, and actually even a little bit more burning. Madi's down very, very low, down to 27. The shots are not going to ring true through the box. Skadoodle up top with his AWP, a very important perch, and now they know no one is over towards Sandbag. They see both of them in the bomb site. That can change at any second, and nothing is going to be the first man up with the rifle. It's AK and Op versus M4 and Op. A little bit of utility being used here right at the end, and there's a nice shot from Freeze, finds the angle into a one-on-one, and he tries to get away, but he can't win it. Nothing is going to pounce on him just at the right moment.
You know, and congratulations for winning the round. They did it off the back of, it was actually a 5v3, and then two players on A site managed to get their kills, Stewie and Skadoodle. Stewie went down. The B rotate came out. Automatic did a great job. This Molotov ended up having Madi crouch in it.
He's fortunate they didn't just run through the smoke right when it seemed like they initially would.
Right.
Because then they had to stop and fight that Molotov.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Fortunate for that situation. They win the 1-on-2. Then there's 2 rounds in a row that come down to clutches, 1-on-2s nonetheless, and are kind of in awkward spots where they've won a certain amount of rounds. They are binds and broke, and so they're at risk of reset one more time.
Well, let's take a break talking about this match really quick, because I did just get word that Complexity just beat Echo Fox 16-7. They did win that last round very quickly, and we've had a couple pauses in this game. So let's save some of our knowledge for later on in this map. But
sure.
What's the implication there for Complexity?
But they're going to win map 2, yeah.
Yes. So it's not, the series isn't over yet, but just the opening map, 16-7. That's a big win after a 13-2 F. That's got to be demoralizing.
That's unbelievable, because if you check Complexity's recent results, they've lost to. They've lost to premier teams.
They've lost everyone.
Everyone, yeah. They haven't beaten anyone, and now at this line have even struggled to have. It was like 16-14 win over Ace Gaming.
You know what I think it is? I met Android's parents are here, and I think Android's just playing lights out for mom and pop.
Yeah, maybe. He's got really supportive parents. He's got his dad wearing the Complexity jersey. I don't know if he's somewhere.
They were in the crowds last night during the game. Yeah.
They're probably back there.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I think I.
How are your parents?
They're doing good.
Are they?
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, when you were playing 1.6 and playing pro, did you try to explain to them what you do? Did you not bother?
It was a little bit contentious back then. It was there wasn't as much money and there wasn't all the glamour. They were just kind of wondering why we were flying out to Dallas to hang out in a hotel with 300 other nerds for a week. So
dudes.
Yeah, dudes. No worries there. But yeah, it's a little bit cooler now. But either way. They've gotten on board with the gaming ever since, and Skadoodle's gotten on board with the AWP a couple rounds in a row now where he's had good impact, and I mean finally he gives them an opening duel that he can win.
Yeah.
So getting that pick, we saw him go for it a few rounds ago. This time it works.
Skadoodle operates at a high level with his back against the wall, but you really don't want to have to see him 1v3ing in a site every round.
Yeah, he is uncanny ability to win some of those, but it's definitely, I mean, it's never going to be favorable odds in terms of winning a 1-on-3, but Skadoodle does seem to do it more often than many others. Nothing's got to extinguish a Molotov over at the barrels. And here comes the hit. This is good smoke, though. I mean, this is good coverage, and Madi's going to try and come right through, but Freeze finds Shroud. That's a nice shot with the AWP, so evened out in a 4-on-4, but Heroic's been very patient on entering this bomb site. They haven't come through these smokes quite yet. It's still very hectic. And you can see holding underwater 3 players here being a little bit passive, waiting for the smoke to clear, and maybe Heroic waited a little bit too long because they have nothing to stand on to get back into the site until those 2 kills ring out. Skadoodle falls as well. This is all turned around. It's all on nothing, and he finds Valdi, but he's going to get swung upon from a new angle, and he's staying alive just barely. That's a nice recovery, and he spins over, but he can't get it. Nothing almost being the hero.
And you know what? That's reset round one more time. So that was actually a really important clutch.
It's still going to be a reset round because they have only 1 player survive.
Yeah, that's true. They would be continually on a reset, or at least they have they have a dog in the fight still. But now they just have to either force up or save. I mean,
that comes down. Oh no, I'm sorry. Excuse me. You were correct there. I was incorrect. That is the reset round.
Oh well, I thought you meant that even if he wins that 1-on-1.
Yeah, I could have certainly played it off.
Yeah.
Well, either way, back on pistols, and you can see more of an investment as well because this would more than likely be a double save. So, see them picking up some armor, some utility, the Deagles and 5.7s. And now, I mean, this is a bit of a nightmare for Cloud9. 9-2, and Heroic has complete control of the economy. I don't think they're going to have to worry about saving for basically the rest of this half. So they can really stretch this one out to a big first half lead.
Yeah, this has been the definition of how you want your T-sides to go. You can't plan for these, but this is exactly how the path of least resistance.
But it's also very cool to see this because Cloud9, how many times we've talked about how good they've been playing lately, they've never really had to have a comeback like that. They haven't really been put under too much pressure.
That's true.
I mean, there's always going to be a couple matches where you're down a few rounds, but in terms of 9-2, in terms of this level of domination out of Heroic,
yeah.
they haven't experienced that with this lineup.
You brought up the stat that when they win games, they win like
by like 8 or 9
rounds on average. So that means, does that mean that like typically when they start out games badly, do they typically recover from them? Or, well, I mean, most of the time they're winning in general, but does it affect them when they don't have a good start or when they're tight leading up to the half?
Yeah, well, I think this actually, you know, a lot more than anything, it kind of calls into what Jordan said in that interview after the last game when he was talking to Vansili and I, where he said, you know, against a better team, if someone grabs control of our economy the way CLG did, we probably lose that match. We get punished a little bit harsher. Well, now we're seeing it. Now we're seeing it, and they're experiencing it, how harsh that punish can be.
Yeah.
Glaive, he gets his 3rd kill in the round. A chance for an ace. As Shroud rotates over. He's very low in HP, and there's no reason to necessarily chase just in an anti-eco. Don't lose the weapons. Snappy, he's going to fall, and there goes Glaive. The ace is gone. Oh, there's some life in Shroud.
Damn.
Down into a 1-on-2. There's no kit on nothing, though, so he's got to hurry up if he wants to make this doable. And if he finds this kill soon enough, it is going to be possible, and he does. He swings around. He's got the new angle. It's down to an AK, but he's got to bait out a peek from Madi, and there's such an advantage in here for Madi. And there it is. Nothing's going to drop the smoke on the bomb to try and sneak and defuse him, but it would have been the full 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Madi doesn't even let him get there.
That would have been really difficult with that full 10 seconds, even though he had the smoke. Could have potentially made the difference. I like when you said there's potential for an ace, and I was like, oh, you mean Shroud with the Deagle?
That's a sick shot, that third kill in the round for Cloud9, and even nothing. I mean, this is just a bummer. A little bit of the timing, because you can see Madi's trying to figure out how he wants to peak this, so that doesn't work out. 10-2 now, and Cloud9 now really, really against the ropes. This is looking dire for them here on Overpass.
Yeah. Almost winning rounds gets you so far, but the closer you get to the end of the half, the more stable Heroic's economy says. As you mentioned, they have enough money to buy for the rest of the half, so it won't really matter. Anything but results at this point.
Well, this is, I mean, the cool thing is Heroic, with this kind of a lead and it's not understanding the economy of where it's at for both teams, they're still being very methodical with using their Molotov, using their blades. They don't want to let anything call the chance, and there's a nice spam shot. Glaive cleaning up the Snappy's damage early on. Stewie's brought down low as well. There goes Skadoodle, and there's no trades on these from Cloud9, and it is just around. They have pistols, but still, I mean, there's no one really seemingly playing together to do any return damage. I mean, no one in Heroic has even been touched yet.
Not getting lucky, I see.
Sometimes it comes down to luck. Nothing. He's hiding in the site. This could be a little. There's an opportunity for something cool to happen here. It's a nice side swipe on the Snappy, but he gets nothing else. 11-2. And Cloud9, if they want a chance in that second half, they need these last 2 rounds. They need them desperately. Yeah,
definitely. Now, I count the times that Skadoodle hasn't had an op, and that's 3, I believe. He's on those rounds gotten 1 and 3 kills, I think, which are, you know, pretty good results, but overall they just haven't had enough opportunities to let him use it. And it's their own fault. They haven't won rounds back-to-back, right? We can talk about how, you know, it's unlucky that they win this round and that round, but you have to win more than those 1 rounds on an island to put together a half to begin with. So,
and we've never had to say this for Cloud9, but they seem to have come into an issue of not having enough fragging on this team, which I don't think is a problem they've had to worry about for a long, long time.
They thought they solved that. No, yeah, I mean, that's like the one thing they thought, okay, we got this down now.
This is what we can build on, our ability to find kills everywhere.
The weird part is they have proven it in every other game. It's just right now, maybe things aren't working out so well for some.
Yeah, this could just be a tough map for them. I mean, Heroic is playing a fantastic game. They're shutting this down very, very nicely. And look at these. The smokes and Molotovs come in again. There's an opening kill from Stewie. Automatic as well, going to climb on top over the smoke. He finds 1. Glaive returns the favor, but it's a 2-on-4. I think the same exact situation occurred the last time this execute came in, and it was brought down into a 1-on-1, and again, it's now a 2-on-2. The ult from Freeze doing work. They're going to try and get new positions as they fall back, and Skadoodle with his own op hasn't really gotten into the action quite yet. You can see here in the split screen the 2 members of Cloud9, how they work to take over this bomb site. Again, they are out of utility. They have no nades, and Skadoodle being blind. He's going to have to lead the way. There's a peek from Glaive. Skadoodle responds onto it. That's very swift.
Oh, Oh,
and
yeah.
now he's going to stick the defuse, but is not going to stick it, and
my
actually Freeze swings out. Skittle finds the kill.
Damn, I actually thought Freeze was going to let him tap that and give him at least 4 or 5 seconds or so.
Well, I
That
mean,
sounded
Freeze
so-
obviously doesn't know
that sounded so-
Freeze obviously doesn't know he doesn't have a kit, so he's got
Yeah.
to keep it honest.
No, it's true. It's true.
But I mean, what a clawback into that round, and that maybe speaks to the state that Cloud9's in. That Heroic is, or how strong they've been playing, is to come back in a 2-on-4.
Yeah, the 2-on-4 and Freeze getting 3 of those kills, instrumental in those moments. The amount of clutch rounds that are happening, it's kind of alarming.
Yeah.
But yeah, in a 4-on-2 situation, that's just a round that should have ended way before it did.
So Heroic just being dominant here, imposing their will. It's a very, very nice performance. And I mean, we should mention Madi's a guy who's had a lot of, he's had a lot of positive things said about him, about how strong of a player he can be. We saw Glaive at the major standing in for Astralis.
Yeah.
He had a phenomenal event, just as a stand-in as well, but individually he was a monster, and he's a big reason why Astralis even got out of groups and made it to the quarterfinals and almost beat Virtus Pro in that series.
Yeah,
So-
and they weren't even. I mean, I remember Astralis complimenting not necessarily his talent, but their choice for picking him because they said Kerrigan said something like, "Now we learned a lesson of this major, and that when you use a stand-in, don't use a young talent, use someone with experience." And that's why they got Glaive, and he just stepped up to the challenge. So, I guess the most important part, if you're going to pick up a player, whether he be new or a stand-in, is not to have to think about whether or not he'll maybe feel pressured or whether or not he'll know how to play by himself. And
yeah, and I mean, this is just he takes that experience as well, and he can bring it to this new team that he's been in. So I mean, he can pass on things that he learned from Astralis, and that's no good. But it seems to be the general theme of this map is the first kill of the round goes the way of Heroic. 12-2 as they close in on this bomb site, and you can just see there's nothing that can stop it. There's no utility here for Cloud9. The fracking is just too strong. The flashbangs and utility usage from Heroic is just too good. And if it wasn't enough, I mean, being blind on top of only having a pistol or a FAMAS is a little bit of a bummer. Look at this, nades raining in. And finally, that's the last of them. But a 2-on-5, and Cloud9 is pushed so far away.
you know, the scary part about Heroic is, and I'm talking through this round as if it's almost over, and it's not, because Nothing is getting a bunch of 5-7 headshot kills. Now he's in a 1-on-2, gonna get another kill and make it look cool, but it's consolation prize pretty much. But you know what, the scary part about Heroic is that on T side, they're really good at getting map control, playing around as slowly and earning each part of the map, and even if a team pushes up, winning those duels and getting to the site. But without any resistance, they have been able to get to the site they want to with more than enough time remaining and then pull off and execute 5v5. I think that's I mean, I think when they plan it out, they think, oh, we'll probably get to this part and we'll have 3 or 4 players left and let's execute. They're getting like all the way up to the front of A site with 4 or 5 players left and thinking, this is way too easy, man.
I think part of that is because Cloud9 just, eventually it seemed like they were a little bit intimidated to take some of those fights. I mean, towards the A site early on in that half, they were giving up a lot of ground on their own, but over towards B, I mean, there were fights, there were challenges, it's just, they didn't, well, they were challenges, but they weren't really challenging.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just Madi just drilling people, just knocking them down and just falling back and giving an advantage. So that was huge, just their ability to win some of those opening duels.
Yeah, and I mean, we can recall rounds where, for example, in any of those B takes, there was never a person on a flank through stairs or big flank. Everybody had rotated through CT. And that's because no one had pushed up far enough to be in a position to rotate faster and come on the big flank from the other side of the map. And there was no one from SK there to challenge them. Cloud9 just had no idea.
We should also mention, when we talk about the concept of controlling the economy of your opponents, that is a textbook way of how to do it from the Heroic side. I mean, winning those reset rounds, we saw so many rounds of Cloud9 with just pistols. I mean, they got reset twice, so those are 2 double saves that they had to go through.
2 double save, yeah.
And I think that probably at least 2 more in that round anyways, or 2 more in that half anyways.
Lost the pistol, so there's 2 more pistols. Okay, if we count them up, there's at least 6 just from those rounds.
Yeah. So that's tough.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of CS we had to cast with Cloud9 holding pistols.
Yeah,
it's not fair to us.
I mean, maybe that plays a part into why this score of the match at halftime is so big.
Yeah.
Pretty incredible stuff at Heroic. I think all of us were kind of interested. We mentioned it. This is the first like real challenge, I would say, from a team that is competitive on the world scale. on LAN at least. So, I mean, we're seeing Cloud9 really go through a little bit of an issue here. So this is a stumbling block. It's going to be tough for them to overcome it here in the second half on this map. This might be a situation where they have to look forward to the rest of the maps in the series. Obviously, you're focusing on making the comeback here, but, you know, at 2-13 on your T side, which is, I mean, that's the other thing we didn't even mention in the first half. The T side, what Heroic just did, that's not supposed to happen. This is a defensive-sided map.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it is stressful if you put too much stock in the map that you're playing, only to end up losing it, to have to then think about the next map after. And some people check out early for that reason. It's understandable.
So, pistol round, it's all important for Cloud9 to get some easy wins off of the back of it and at least start to close this gap. At the moment, I mean, this is where Cloud9, they can't even be looking at the overall score of rounds. They need to start just thinking one at a time, as cliche as that sounds. At the moment, I mean, we talked a lot about giving ground up from Cloud9 on the CT side. Well, Heroic's done the same thing here on the pistol round.
Yeah.
Everyone playing far back. They've got 2 players over, you know, 2 or 3 committed towards B. Madi just kind of jump spotting, trying to see what he can find. And is this actually going to work? A little bit of a crossfire. There's a clothesline. There's a second one. They haven't traded him out just yet. And actually, finally, they inch into his crosshair. And the aim punch becomes a real thing. It's down to a 3-on-3. And it seemed like Freeze wanted to jump and get a new angle, but he was held back. Shroud is doing his best, putting bullets through the smoke, seeing if he can soften him up, deal a little bit of damage. All armor on the CT side. Here they are trying to remake their entrance. Glaive with a nice headshot as well. Skidoodle's forced into the open. Now a 1-on-3 with nothing, and he gets dropped as well. Jeez. It's a repeat of the first half where everything is just so quick from Heroic. All these kills, they're just not missing.
No. I mean, Glaive even had a kit and a smoke for the retake, so they were fully prepared for that. Snappy, a couple of really nice shots. I mean, they could have... He's on an angle that's impossible to escape. They could have just wide peeked and traded him out instantly. I mean, after the first kill, maybe he does get one more if they double peek him, but still.
Yeah, I mean, it's just dirty. Yeah. Look at that as well. Just the first shot that Glaive takes there onto nothing, so he's got no chance on that clutch.
Yeah.
14-2 now, and Heroic, you could see them buying up. Normally you see a little bit more SMGs to help build up some money and farm a little bit, but knowing that Cloud9 is in a situation where they have to buy out everything they can, they have to buy armor, they have to buy, you know, upgraded pistols. They get the rifles, they get the more powerful guns right off the bat, and they sacrifice utility to be able to do it.
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna run out here. Good flash. Actually catches Valde off guard, but he can stay up here. I mean, they don't really know what he's doing. Never mind.
I mean, that's the thing. I'm surprised he didn't get down because I'm pretty sure nothing spotted him on his first cross.
Right, yeah. And while he was blind, so.
Yeah, and the dink and the nade combination is rough. Automatic, critical spot to hold, and you can see what difficulty it's causing Heroic. They finally do clear him out. They haven't taken too much damage from it. There's nothing. He can't get away. 4-on-3 now as this retake comes in. The defense from Cloud9 is eventually shutting down. It's down into a 2-on-2, but Skidoodle brings him right back with 2 kills of his own. And Freeze now, he's the clutch man, but he falls, so Cloud9 a little bit of life.
And we haven't
heard the clapping and the cheers from the crowd in quite some time.
I know, I felt lonely. We've been very alone for a while. Yeah, it's been quite sad. I'm disappointed too, you know, and only because I want to see. First of all, I want to see the T side. Now we do get a chance to see that. If they don't get ecoed here, they're at least going to earn themselves 1 rifle round, one last chance to kind of prove whether or not they have learned anything from the first half, whether it be some basic stuff or map-specific stuff, and maybe just on T side on this map they're much better in general. Wishful thinking?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm all about wishful thinking.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how it turns out, though. I mean, there's a nice flashbang. That at least blinds Glaive, so his teammate falls soon after it. Everyone else trying to come through door. Madi does get one. That's Shroud, and he's going to salvage the AK-47. At this point, in a 2-on-4, you think his entire plan should just be to save that weapon.
Yeah, and he is hightailing it. I like a man who doesn't half-save. Those guys who sit around like close enough to get killed.
Oh yeah, and they always end up losing it at the last second or something.
I think it was saving.
Like I will sit at this angle and I will kill 3 as they exit the bomb site. They just end up losing the gun.
But I really want to keep this gun too.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Screw those guys.
Screw those guys.
Freeze now. I mean, he's looking for an exit kill of his own, and he has no reason to really even try and necessarily save. He has only got a pistol, no armor, so might as well go for something. See if he gets one more kill out of it. Wouldn't be bad. Takes a rifle away, but.
I think he was maybe
speaking of wishful thinking.
Yeah.
That is a perfect example right there. So Madi is going to bring out this AK-47 into the next round, but more than likely with the investment that Heroic just had into that round, that AK will be all they had. So we'll look at him to be the kind of playmaker for Heroic. If they want to try and win this round, he's got to get aggressive. He's got to try and find an advantage for him with that AK.
And off the back of it is going to armor up. Has the money's still a little bit uneven, so he's had enough to buy that full armor and still be on par with his teammates. And I'm curious to see how they use it. Now again, they turtled up, just like, as you mentioned, they turtled up just like Cloud9 were doing. But that being said, it was versus pistol, so maybe there's a little bit different thought process, like on the pistol round and the anti-eco. They ended up losing the anti-eco though, so that is to be noted. But it's Tech9, it's like, that's not fair, so.
It's not fair at all. And here's Madi. We'll see what he decides to do if he tries to get creative. And it does seem like this is the play he's going to want to make, and he finds nothing. He wins that battle. The door, though, Shroud is here, and he's able to return the kill. That's huge now, because that's the armor gone. So even if they have the AK-47 in hand, even if they have a rifle, game punch is a real thing, but, I mean, that's...
He's getting a little bit frisky there.
Shroud was a little bit overextended. And the crazy part is now, because the rest of Cloud9, they haven't been able to take advantage of the information they just gained from that, because they know that there was, you know, between the kill and the 2 players they spotted, there were 3 people towards B, so they haven't been able to punish that on the other side of the map.
Now they've given up 2 weapons. These weapons quite a bit less useful because they have no armor.
Oh,
so.
this is gonna perhaps be a disaster. And yes, that's why if you ever turn a corner and see a boost, you shoot the guy on the bottom first. Yeah. The other one will fall right into your crosshair.
Yeah, not the aim again. That's true. Wise words.
Yeah, life lessons, I guess. Glaive here with doing a good bit of damage. Stewie down to 13 HP. And I mean, once again, there's no real reason they're going to have whatever they want next round, so might as well go for a couple more kills, see if they can run down the economy, the bank of Cloud9, forcing into some rebuys, but unfortunately they both get spotted out. So Cloud9 a little bit of life, 5-14, still a long way off.
Wait, Jordan has gamer glasses? That's not fair.
You never saw his billboards?
That's not fair.
He was on the billboards back in the day.
For what?
For Gunners.
Oh, for Gunners.
I believe
really?
So, yeah.
Oh, wow. Long-time supporter.
He was, I think, one of the... Well,
he's doing a Pac-Man impression?
Oh, man. Well, okay, so full buy. And, I mean, the big strength that Heroic had in the first half was all those opening kills, all those winning duels they had early on in the rounds. Cloud9's got to make sure that doesn't happen. At least this time, on the T side, they get to dictate where those opening duels happen. Generally, they get to dictate where it is.
Yeah. As terrorists.
Not always.
Rule of thumb, of course not. But in general, that's what does happen. And a fair bit of control being maintained by both teams. So clearly, the middle of the map has been forfeited, but even if you forfeit it, the terrorists will still give it respect because they don't know that. So with that alone, you can buy some time. And Snappy is playing this position with a teammate who's going to try to buy or take attention away from him.
Yeah, we call it baiting.
Baiting, yes.
So yeah, you take the shot, you make sure the attention of your opponent is on you, and your teammate is free up to get a couple more kills. Maybe more than just he generally would if they were going right for him. So instead of a 1-for-1 trade, maybe he gets 2 kills and lives. It'll be interesting to see how it works. Haven't quite run into it just yet. There's a pretty nice shot. It tags automatic right through the wall. A little bit unfortunate. Probably would have liked to have that kill, but the bait works perfectly. There it is. Snappy, he gets 1. Can he get 2? Skidoodle spamming through the wall makes him a little bit nervous, but now Freeze, he's going to have a tough time coming over the bomb site, coming through the smoke. Body is now the last one here. He's trying to stop this plant, but he just can't see the planter in that smoke. This is a nice execute from Cloud9. And instead of dedicating themselves forward, they just fall right back. But still, Madi's got a chance. And he's looking for one more. Stewie gives up his position. It is a 2-on-3. And it's not too likely. It's looking like Cloud9 should be able to take this one. Madi, if he can get one more kill, it'd be huge, but the flank comes in. Skidoodle's not prepared for it. Unfortunately, Madi dies inside the bomb site. There is still a little bit of time left, but no kit on him, and he's just going to decide to bail out. So he gives up the round, and nothing is going to chase him down, trying to get this weapon out of his hands, but that's not going to work. And Stewie, he grabs the op, and he runs away, so Cloud9 survive another one. They bring it to 6. And Heroic, they just cannot hold on to that bomb site.
No, they can't. It does come down to the 1v1. I mean, it's technically a 2v1 before you decide to save. But overall, that was a pretty dominant take. I mean, they ended up taking damage early on, automatic down to 40 HP. Snappy gets his opening kill from the bait position. And then he doesn't get a second one, but that's still a lot of good damage dealt. Skidoodle's already hurt, and then the smokes come out. and the round gets locked up. So they did it off the back of an execute, some basic map control. They are giving Heroic a little bit of taste of their own medicine right now.
Well, and it's also so funny how things change over time. One of the big, actually hold that thought. Well, we'll see what comes from this. We'll come back to that point because it was a pretty cool point.
See over this? Oh, okay.
It's a nice boost, and he couldn't be able to catch someone off guard, but early on, at least, Cloud9, I mean, you could see they know because of the economic punch, they have a good read on the situation. They're playing very passive. And this also comes into play. One idea. Ooh, that's a 6 shot. Skidoodle not even looking there whatsoever. So
Skidoodle will never know. Will never know how he died. Never.
Well, until, you know, maybe 30 minutes after the series, he watches the VOD. He'll figure it out then. But for now, he will never know. And Stewie, he's going to be able to fall back. So it is a 1-for-1 trade. The AK is still alive in the hands of Heroic. But how much longer until they are punished for this kind of aggressive play? And both teams kind of content to just, give up any kind of follow-up there. They just both say, all right, we're 4 for 4. Each one gets a kill. Fall back into the sights. And nothing at range. He does find Blade, but there's more over at the B bomb site. Madi is going to push forward into Shroud. He wins that. That's a little bit surprising. And actually, the AK is picked up, and he gets away. He recovers his aim, but he can't win that battle. Snappy, though, with the other AK, has made this interesting. Automatic comes back, and with the help of Stewie, with that op, that should be most of the danger. Freeze is going to be here on the rotate, and once again, he might just grab this AK and just bail out. So what I was going to say at the beginning of this round, it is pretty interesting how over time this has kind of changed for Cloud9, because one of the strengths that they've had as a team is just that aggressive nature, but it's as a team they are aggressive when they take bomb sites. They're pushing forward through smokes. They're pushing over top of smokes, and we saw it in that hit. Because when Stewie joined this team, that was the criticism of his as an individual, is just this crazy guy running through smokes, just being hyper-aggressive at all times. And when Cloud9's taking sites now as a team, they've kind of adopted that same mentality. So you could see Freeze, when all the smokes are lining up and he thinks no one can see him, no one knows where he is, all of a sudden you've got Cloud9 players storming over the bomb site. So joke's on him.
And he got criticized for it, but he was really, really good at it.
Yeah, he was
honestly
still
really good at
very good at it.
You know, I played a match with Stewie, like a main match or something like that. It was, and he asked to flash through the smoke, a top banana smoke, and then my teammate said, "All right, let's do it." And so my teammate flashed through the smoke, and then he died, and then we lost the round. And Stewie said, "You were supposed to let me do it." He actually said that, and he was honestly insane at figuring out how to come out of a smoke and what angle to be looking. He was just super quick with the reaction times.
Well, they're going to need a little bit more of that sanity. The Molotov over towards short sewers has split up this attack. That's shut up the timing, but it doesn't matter. Shroud gets 2, Stewie gets 1. And this round's already won for Cloud9. Heroic, they just bail out. Snappy and Freeze don't want anything to do with this. So it looked like that hit was going to be delayed. It looked like it was going to be a little bit disjointed, but none of those advantages matter when all the kills go the way of Shroud and Stewie. So 3 kills between the two of them, and it's now going to be 8 rounds. At what point, Launders, do we say they're back in the match? They have a chance.
They're back, right?
That's to you, crowd. I like it. They don't all land.
No, they don't all land.
They don't all land.
I had a delay effect, but they do. It feels like they're back again. Look at this. Look at this map objectively. Heroic have 2 pistol rounds. If we just take that stat alone, the fact that they didn't get ecoed on those rounds, that's 6 rounds, right? And let's say we split those, then we're almost tied, right? Oh, we actually are tied at 11-11.
I didn't follow any of that, but I'm going to just trust
Heroic won both pistol rounds.
You were correct.
If Cloud9 won one of them, they'd be tied.
Sure. That's yeah, why not? I'll give that one to you.
There's a world where that
there is
scoreline
an
exists.
alternate universe somewhere.
The issue is that Heroic have more opportunities to make mistakes, and that is quite a big difference.
Yeah, I mean they still. I mean, if you're Heroic right now, you're feeling a little bit of pressure, but you're still not like super worried or paranoid. I think the real problem is that. We touched on, more so than the pistol round thing, we touched on the fact that in the first half, Cloud9 had to save so much. So now, you could almost, it would be interesting to see the number of times they've had pistols and lost rounds versus the number of times they've won rounds with rifles, because you can almost assume that in rifle versus rifle, Cloud9's actually ahead. Once again, all theoretical. This is all alternate universe type stuff, but we're at the Fan Expo where there's a lot of
honestly,
cosplay going on.
These are things people forget about, right?
And nothing is based in reality. I saw a lot of stormtroopers earlier today.
Nothing is, yeah. And they were blocking me from getting lunch.
I was just trying to get a turkey sandwich.
Not a good memory.
Well, Stewie's going to be lining up a smoke here, so where are they going to choose to attack next? And actually, he jumps over. That's a mistake on
Yeah.
Stewie's part. Right before the smoke plumes, he gets a little bit overly aggressive. So an advantage now for Heroic, a 5-on-4. But where they don't have an advantage is manpower here, but look at this position. I don't think anyone's going to clear this. There's one kill and a second one. That might shut things down. Shroud and Automatic have to bring their team back into this round, and that's a good kill. Down into a 2-on-3. They still have an opportunity. Only one flash, and they need to go get the bomb quickly because the rest of Heroic is here, and Automatic, he predicts that boost, and he spams through the smoke, and just the timing is a little bit off. But the bomb does get planted, and Automatic, he's going to switch over to that AWP. He wants to provide long-range cover, and that's going to be his next. I think he spots the barrel of the gun. Definitely spotted the muzzle flash, and there's the kill. Huge. Money now.
Okay.
He gets picked off. Automatic is having himself around, and in this 1-on-1 makes the smart decision.
This is why he was picked up, to be the last person alive, to do interesting things in clutch rounds. Snappy's off the bomb here. That Molotov is good.
Yeah, but with the smoke, he's just got to trust that he's gotten off the bomb. That's a big gamble. That's very, very ballsy of Automatic. Snappy's going to start the defuse again while burning. He taps it, and there's the peek from Automatic, and he loses that. So
oh, no, he does. Yeah,
this is going to be close, but I think he's just got it, and it was so incredibly close. What a round from Automatic. Unfortunately, not able to bring it in, and that's the one play that Snappy could have made to win that.
Online Asian piece of... Not my words,
Well,
of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
Just quoting his teammate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why not? All right, so moving on.
But and then
back in the room.
You know, and that's what it comes down to. Even though we could have the theoreticals of the pistol rounds being split, the economy being broken in the first half. The bottom line is that Heroic we're one away from match point, and now are on match point. And honestly, Cloud9 have had a stellar T side.
Yeah, this has been a phenomenal T side. The issue is that Heroic's T side was just godlike at 13-2. So that's the big thing. You could see if Cloud9 wins just a couple more rounds, they give themselves a much better chance. Now they have to play for overtime. But here's the thing. I mean, you think about that as well. Stewie got picked off last round. That was essentially a 4-on-5. They almost win. And this is again that economic reset round because Heroic had lost and they just won one. So if they get beat here, it's going to be that double save scenario for them. So that situation that Cloud9 was in throughout the entire first half, if they can inflict that same pain onto Heroic, they can make this comeback because they've won so many rounds in a row here on this T side. Yeah,
no, it's absolutely true. And some people talk about map biases, and I don't know how you feel about them, but ultimately the way I see it, and I think that some other people do, is that you have to play both halves. So if you have a bad half on a map that is favored in the other way, like it's a CT favored map and you have a bad T half, you can always look forward to CT side, no matter how bad it is. And remember that you have to play the second half just like the other team does. So no matter how big of the comeback you have to make, you can remember that they basically did the same thing to you.
Stewie again, it looks like they just kind of reset the last round's tactic as Stewie just over towards that A bomb site trying to make something happen on his own. Here come the smokes, the flashes Automatic. That's a nice peek. He shoulder peeks and spots Valdi, and then he just spams him right through the board. Automatic again, he's been a monster these past 2 rounds, although he does eventually fall. It's a good kill from Glade. And he's trying to stop the defuse, but it's not going to happen. Shroud's watching just for that exact play. Nice cover of the bomb planter. And Heroic's going to go for this, but Skadoodle inside of water. He has the Tech 9 out. And that's going to stop the retake in its tracks. Snappy now, the only way to really get back into this round is hope for Cloud9 to make some kind of a mistake. Nothing peeks right into it and wins that. So there it is, the economic reset, the chance for Cloud9 to force overtime.
The last thing Cloud9 should be thinking about is that Heroic are on match point. Instead, they should be thinking one round at a time, because if they do think like that, they can look back and see they have been winning these rounds and it's been looking really good. And because that round was a 1v1, they've earned themselves a double save in the hands of Heroic. Looks like Glaive has 2,800 bucks. Everybody else is down to 1,500. And that means we're going to be within 4, potentially.
We creep ever closer, but Glaive had a little bit of an off angle, and this could catch Cloud9 off guard. It's going to be an awkward situation as depending on how they clear things out. So Heroic with an interesting pistol setup here, and there it is. There's that off angle. Stewie doesn't even check it, doesn't even see it coming whatsoever. And now Snappy, he's the next one up on the Shroud. A little bit more diligent, and he's got plenty more bodies coming at him, and I think he might have heard that jump. Even if he didn't, the Molotov is going to keep him safe for now. The rest of Cloud9 are going to start finding out that their location on the map is pretty safe, and they're just going to keep pressing forward. So an AK is picked up by Freeze, but all in all, Cloud9 is going to be fine with that, as long as they win the round still.
Yeah, as long as they win the round. Freeze isn't going to be able to make good use of this in the positions that they're at right now. They aren't holding the sites that they're going to. They have to retake it. And usually if you have pistols, it's not a really great idea to force the issue and try to retake with pistols if you want these exit frags. Instead, you should probably hold the exit routes and make sure that they can't get far enough from the bomb. So either they die by the bomb or they come right into your angle and get a free pistol kill.
Yeah, well, especially considering because of the double save, if they're able to get any AKs out of this, if they're able to get any guns, that's just going to help moving forward. Because I mean, think if they get one or two more AK-47s, and they find a way to get a couple rifles on the board next round, they'll gladly force buy with 3 rifles. So everything is critical, and that obviously would be the high rise, but none of that is going to happen. Shroud, he's in a little bit of danger, but they're not going to peek on him, so he's going to live moving forward. But Cloud9 starting to make believers of the crowd. A little bit more cheers, a little bit more clapping.
I hopped on the bandwagon nice and early.
Yeah, but you had no logical reason to. I wouldn't be proud of that.
I'm smart, Jason. You remember that. And Valde, oh wow, okay, so Freeze actually gives that to Valde. I think that says something about the pecking order of the team. Not any knock on Freeze, but just to say that who is very capable with rifle, but that Valde is actually insane.
Listen, the semifinals are no time to have pride. And
yeah,
again,
absolutely.
going for this. And once again, Stewie might be given the gift as he turns the corner. There's one and doesn't even know it's a boost. Luckily, Freeze fell off, which confuses him, but what a spin. What a recovery from Stewie. That's very nicely done. And the rest, Madi and Snappy to follow this up. But still, Cloud9 has not dedicated themselves anywhere on the map. So a little bit of a gunfight going on as Madi is brought down a little bit low. Stewie's done his job with 12 HP. His only goal is to stay alive. There's automatic, spots one over towards B. So they have a little bit of intel here. And now they can make their move. Now they're starting to readjust across the map to their destination. And Heroica, I mean, as we said, double save, they just have the pistol, so there's not really anything to stop them. It's all about can they get a gun? Can anything crazy happen? That flashbang almost works. If it's a second earlier, there may be something out of that. And Snappy content just to take that AK-47 that was dropped earlier. They'd saved it from 2 rounds ago. Once again, going to try and save it. Because why spend money if you don't have to?
No, absolutely. Recycling is just a trait of a good human. Everybody should participate.
Everyone should recycle.
Stu with the aim back.
Captain Planet would be a big fan. Well, Snappy finds Stewie 2K as well, so they are hunting down the AK-47. The question is, are they going to get it? And he's under a lot of pressure, and he's being encircled as well. Even if he lost that duel, he would have dropped it eventually. So Cloud9 inching it closer.
And I think at least this, no matter what happens here on this map, this tells us that that the next map isn't simply going to be a stomp. Fortunately for Cloud9, this comeback is only possible, brought to you in part by a conversion of the second round after the pistol. So they did it with Tech-9s, and it's allowed them to play in this map. But if they just had simply lost that round when they were supposed to, Heroic would have won this map, and it would have looked like Cloud9 were a completely garbage team.
Well, we know they're not. I mean, perhaps since we know that, this is what we've come to. This was always fated to be. Freeze is a little bit put off by that flashbang. He's still looking for more, and the timing is just doesn't. I mean, this is a situation where he's in. The timing is going to be everything here.
Yeah. So the position Freeze at, he doesn't have. Oh, he does have help. Okay, sorry. I thought Glaive wasn't with him. Looking at the mini map on the wrong angle. And as long as he's here, he's safe, and that's a really nice pick. I'm not sure what happened. It looked like a flash.
Oh, that spot's tough as well to spot for Stewie. So, I mean, this has been a phenomenal comeback from Cloud9 on the T side, but down in a situation where they're 3-on-5 in this round. And also a clever setup from Heroic. This could be the turning point, and they're not getting anything. Freeze readjusts, and Op is still holding the angle, and he's just a beast. He's had enough of this first map, and it looks like it's all going to go their way. Nothing is tagged. No chance for him here. So Cloud9, a little bit of life after that first half, but I mean, they make the comeback, and it's, I mean, at least they just don't get smacked out of this half, and we're talking about them trying to mentally reset. They found some things that worked, but I think the real story, I mean, despite that comeback, is obviously Heroic and the effort they had in the first half. That was insane.